security and safety of all the employees who are working, migrant employees who are working across the Kashmir Valley, then we will be forced to leave our jobs. And if this is the dream of Naya Kashmir by our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji, then we are really sorry for that. This is the ground situation we are working here. You can see there are scores of people protesting on the roads. There are Kashmiri Muslims, there are Kashmiri Sikhs. They are protesting and they are supporting us. They are standing side by side us. So we really are thankful to our Kashmiri Muslim brothers, and we request UT administration to look into the matter and
Namaste. Another Sunday, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and we are back with Words of Wisdom, Gyan Ganga on our Virat Hindustan Sangam social media channels. We will welcome you to our show. We have a very interesting topic today. The topic is, are Hindus under siege again? Situation of temples and human rights of Hindus. And as usual, we have Dr. Subramanian Sawmy to speak for the next 40 to 45 minutes to discuss the topic. And I have with me my co-host Ramesh Swamy and Professor Arvind Chaturvedi from Delhi. And I have to thank our social media team led by Ashish Shetty, Tejas Navalgur, Swaminathan, Rakesh Gadgi, Ishwar Iyer, Ajesh Nair and Vishal Mehta for their support to put this program together every Sunday. I have to thank all our viewers in more than 122 countries across the globe for watching us. And as I'm mentioning always, all our past episodes are available on YouTube of Virat Hindustan Sangam, and you can visit them and at your leisure watch out. We are also available on numerous other platforms. So whatever is convenient to you, you can watch them on those platforms and podcasts. So with this, it is over to Dr. Subramanian Sawmy to initiate the discussion and have his views on the very interesting and very, I would say, challenging topic, because it's a challenge for all Hindus on what is happening on the ground and the reality from state to state. And over to Dr. Sawmy.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Jagdish and Ramesh and Arvind. We are today on the edge of something, and that's why we have chosen this topic. You know that the Hindus were under siege. Siege means they are surrounded and then attacked. They are helpless. That's what a siege is supposed to do. So Hindus were under siege from 1492, when Gauri was coronated in Delhi, to 1947. And then it was indirectly under siege because of minority appeasement of Jawaharlal Nehru and the Congress party, or the Nehru family to be more exact. And this went from up till 2014. When the BJP government came, we of course were all celebrating because we think all this appeasement would end. But we have still a long way to go. So I'm going to say today that the recent developments in the last 2-3 years suggest that the siege of Hindus is returning. And this is a very tragic situation because after all the hope we had, and that the Hindus would be able to live without having to be defensive about their rights. They will have the normal rights of the people of India, and they also will have certain other benefits which will come from being 80% of this of our country. And of course, if you add Sikhs and Buddhists and Jains, it will be 82.5% of the population. So, the first thing we see is that, which I'll start by because of its current nature of, that there is a siege of Hindus who are called Kashmiri Pandits in Kashmir. And this has erupted now once again. Kashmiri Pandits have decided to go back. And now we find suddenly that we are not able, despite having president's rule, we are not able to track down these terrorists, and they are not the majority. By the way, the majority in Kashmir definitely wants normalcy so that their business can start again. In fact, when I was last in Srinagar, the boatmen told some people who told me that they are saying that please more and more people come because we have lost a lot of money in the last few years. So therefore, I think what we are finding is that this is a Hindu. The siege is against Hindus, and it is being coordinated by forces outside India. And while the BJP government is in Kashmir, it's a big setback for the reputation and the capability, or the questions of our capability as a BJP, who were considered that they will defend Hindus, they will defend the whole of the country, but certainly the Hindus had not been defended in the past, so will defend them. So this is point number one. The showing the sign of emerging the siege of the Hindus. The second thing is Hindu institutions, and there are temples and universities and education. In some states, they have reached a stage where temples are being destructed. Temples are being arbitrarily taken over, when the Supreme Court has already ruled in one of my petitions that you cannot take over the temple. If a temple is financially mismanaging, you can take over temporarily the finance department, and that finance department, you must clean it up and set it all right and bring all the records up to date, and then return it back to the temple. And this should not take more than 4 years. So therefore, we have temples from what? The Tirupati, for example, was taken over by the British government in 1933. And there are so many temples, 100 years, 150 years. And all these temples, why the government, do you think the government has a lot of free time or what? And they have not taken over a single masjid, they have not taken over a single Waqf board, they have not taken a single anything of Muslim community or Christian community. You see, in our, at least we in our temples, we consider it's a place of God. In Christianity, the cross is taken out. It's just a building. And masjid is only a place to read namaz. You can read namaz anywhere else. So that's also only just a building. And this is the Supreme Court's view. So, but despite that, 4 lakh temples are today have been taken over by the government over several years. Now the DMK started again doing all kinds of mischief and trying to create a fear, and so that people will surrender. They are now saying no, Pujari need not know Sanskrit. And this is a new one. Yes, you can have one gradation of people who will recite prayers in Tamil also. So there's nothing wrong with that. But they are instructed in order to qualify as a Pujari, you must know Sanskrit. They are opposing it. And they're saying, no, that cannot be. And they are giving all cock and bull stories which have been discredited by science. For instance, they say we are Dravidians, we are different people. Dravidian is a concept of a regional, where the 3 oceans meet. I wouldn't be surprised it is Tra and Vid, which makes it into the Travid, and which must now being called Dravid. So that has got nothing to do with race, but it is being now made into race. There's no such word as Aryan, but there is a word called Arya. Arya only means a polite person, cultured person, and that can be anybody, North Indian, South Indian. But they're saying no, only North Indians are Aryans. So all these are ways of belittling the Hindus, and is part of the thing. So this is the second thing. The third thing is we are finding now BJP government taking over temples. We are here struggling to get the temples freed from the government of the states. But BJP, on the direction of the central party, has been taking over temples. Like Uttarakhand, they took over the entire Chardham, all the temples. And of course, I went to court and I got an important part decided. That is, the treasury of the temples will not be in the hands of the government, it will be in the hands of the pujari. So then the government started losing interest. Then I went to Supreme Court. So before it could come to Supreme Court, the government itself has withdrawn the takeover. But why did they take it? Why take it over? Now, privately, the politicians of BJP politicians of Himachal tell me, no, we got orders from Delhi. But they never answered. I asked several times. I am really shocked that where this is a fundamental part of the BJP's ideological plan.
HINDUS, you should read it.
What? You want me to read anything? No. Anyway, I think there was some cross call perhaps. So therefore, I would say the second part is, you see, in Maharashtra also, they have taken over that Pandharpur temple. Our BJP government took it over when they were in power. So we are in a situation today where we are finding that these the Hindu symbols, the Hindu places of worship, all these, the government wants to take it over in its own hands, perhaps because of the money in it. I don't know what it is, but it's certainly they are committing the hierarchy. Even on Ram Setu to be declared as a national heritage monument, which it has qualifies all the conditions in the ancient sites and archaeological remains. That act, the Ram Setu qualifies. They are not declaring it, and they won't let me even proceed in the Supreme Court and get an order from the Supreme Court because it doesn't get listed. So this is the second part of this siege that I was talking about. The third part is in education. So many reservations are coming up that the people of merit, they have no chance. Even the lower scheduled caste and backward class people of merit who qualify on merit, they nevertheless want a seat which is on quota basis. So whereas the other castes, they cannot even get 3% of their people in even though they're all in toppers, the list of toppers. So this is also increased, and therefore we are now in a situation where we find that the Hindus are in as big a plank as because being surrounded and tied and hand, foot tied, etc. Then one of the worst things which was putting the Hindu mind into siege, that was our history books, all rubbish in it, and it had to be rewritten. It was written under the direction of the British in order to make people of India feel, as they said, British in clothing, British in food, British in manners, but brown in skin color. There is a brown Englishman, as it is just be jokingly called. So that was the basis for it. But now you are this history that the British made. There was no India. Even today, I hear this. There's no India, but the British put us together, which is all complete rubbish. We may not have a centralized India because we didn't believe in centralization. All through our scriptures, you will see decentralizations are extremely well. We don't have one God. Of course, we have one concept called Ishwar, but otherwise, we've got so many gods, but there's no clash. It's in harmonious. I may follow Shiva, somebody may follow Vishnu. So therefore, we need a history that we are one people, and we were the most prosperous country in the world. People used to come from to buy things from us. We had nothing to buy from them. That advanced we were, but people came to buy from us. So this agenda should have been done within the first 2 years, and the government didn't do it. Didn't do it after 5 years. Now it's 8 years. Nowhere near completion. I mean, we're still taught about how the English come and saved us and all that kind. I mean, sometimes we should have a separate session and we read out these books. And our people are getting brainwashed. So therefore, this is a continuing part of the earlier Congress-induced siege of the Hindus, and this is it. And there are so many other things there. Lip service, Sanskrit is a very crucial thing to learn. There, we are not learning it, and we are talking about it, but privately it is being taught. But now we can teach through electronics and so many things so much easier, and that is not being done. So what I would like to say is for a discussion, so that we can finish our program today at 8:45. I would like to say that what do you do when a party which is sworn to bring Hindutva, that doesn't mean that it is against others. As far as all people are in India are concerned, the constitution is there and the constitution protects everybody irrespective of religion. But as a government, the suppression of the Hindus has to be overcome during the tenure of the BJP. But we find that that is not happening. And I've given you these four examples of increasing siege of the Hindus, and we have seen the pain in the eyes of the Kashmiri Pandits while demonstrating and asking our own BJP government's police and military to get out. And I mean, the extent to which we went. I'm sorry that the Prime Minister didn't go to Srinagar. He only went to Jammu and came back. And you all of us in this team here know, having come, how much difference it makes to go see how the people in Kashmir want us to bring normalcy. And this includes Hindus and Muslims. But the Pakistanis are infiltrating us. We find now Pakistan has sent a team to participate in a conference on how to fight terrorism. I'm shocked. First, you have talks with the Chinese, who have gobbled up your territory, 4,000 square kilometers, and now the country which is doing the maximum attacks on you, their delegation has arrived. It's all over the papers today, in the front page, that the Pakistanis have arrived, and to participate with whom? With China and Russia and India on how to fight terrorism. I don't know what is frankly happening, and I think for the cause of Hindus, we will have to do some mobilization so that the government realizes, as it realized in the case of Uttarakhand, that you can't trifle with the Hindu sentiment. You have to give it due priority as a BJP party. I'm not taking it as a government. As a government, you are bound by the constitution. You follow the constitution. But as a BJP party, you know how to redraw certain things which can be done because the government has that access, the power to do that. So, from that point of view, we need to have a deep look at it. And with that, I will be happy to join with any conversation with my other colleagues here. Over to you, Jagdish.
Dr. Swamy, while discussing this topic, a
Yeah.
lot of Hindus feel let down that, in spite of 8 years of BJP, Modi or Hindutva government, things which could have been expedited or changed and cannot happen are not happening. And a situation is slowly coming that, the situation is as same as, on some issues, as same as earlier. So, a lot of Hindu followers of Hindutva are feeling very upset on this, and they cannot see an alternative in any other opposition parties. So,
Yeah.
how can we improve the BJP to fight for this cause? Is creating awareness about the shortcomings a better way, or finding an alternative party a better way to put forward the Hindutva view? What is your views on this?
Well, before going to others, I will answer this question because it's an important question. First of all, there can be no other party except BJP because it's got the necessary structure and the enormous armed organized strength of the RSS. And they also, by the way, are unhappy people. I mean, I won't name names, but I'll tell you they've been talking. Even this evening, I had a meeting where a lot of RSS people in the universities, high places in the university had come, and they were explaining how sad they are that, they feel that our own Hindus are being not treated well, and Kashmir has certainly jolted all of us. So now the issue is how to make BJP deliver its promises. And that, I think as the complaints grow of the people, it will be easier for many of the party people, as well as the support of the RSS and the Vishwa Parishad and so many other organizations, to get us back on the right course. We have seen when the pressure was built on Uttarakhand, the government had to back down and restore the ownership of the temples. So I would tell all the viewers, Jagdish, through you, that there's no alternative to BJP and you can't build an alternative to BJP. It will take maybe another 25 years. But the BJP itself internally feels that what is going on is wrong. It's not that the BJP it's only the stewardship and the kind of people who have been taken into government, that is the one that makes us seem derailed. But I think if all of us get together, because there's no elections in the party for the last 8 years, there's no body which is selected by internal elections. So therefore, it's basically a top man decides who's going to hold what posts, and therefore they're all answerable to him and not to the party workers. So I would think people should not get depressed. This is something we have to correct, and we have the machinery for it. The only thing is that the awareness has to be spread much more, and BJP should be redone. It should be, in a sense, reinvented to be ready in 2024 to be credible as a Hindu party, in the sense that all the miseries that have been heaped on Hindus in the past 100 years at least should be rectified, by this party. And as I told you, history books is an example. The importance we give to our culture is another. So it says so many other aspects. These are things in which we can do it. So this is my answer to your question.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sawmy. Dr. Sawmy, I think the hotbed issue today, as we see, you can please answer this in Hindi if you want, is this what happened to Rahul Bhatt, how he was murdered in broad daylight. And fascinating part is the people protesting against it were literally jailed, put behind like a closed enclosure. I mean, it is shocking that Hindus are being treated by, I mean, like this for what? Exercising their rightful thing under the law. So, I mean, some comments on this, because it is fascinating, Dr. Sawmy. I mean, because when you tweeted this, I mean, I'm telling you that the response that we have seen on social media has been immense, and they're supporting you. But would love to hear from you on this particular thing, because it has really captured the imagination of people across the world, not just India, not just Kashmir, but across the world. If you don't mind, if you can answer in Hindi, it will be good, because
Yeah.
I think
अच्छा ठीक है. नहीं, मैं ये जो विषय है राहुल की, उसकी हत्या की और 4 आतंकवादी आकर करें, वो भी सबके सामने, तो ये तो हमारी सरकार जो है, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की सरकार ही तो है कश्मीर में, उसकी बहुत 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 बड़ी बेइज्जती हुई है, और भारत माता को भी लज्जा के एक परिस्थिति में पैदा की गए, अब धकेल दिया गया है. तो इस दोबारा ऐसा कभी नहीं होना चाहिए. मैंने आज इस ब्रॉडकास्ट में बता सकता हूँ कि मैंने टेलीफोन से कई इंक्वायरीज की है, और एक सीनियर ऑफिशियल ने मुझे कहा कि आपको आश्चर्य होगा कि हम अपने पुलिस को भी नहीं कंट्रोल पा रहे हैं. जो अत्याचार हुआ है हिंदुओं के ऊपर पुलिस के जरिए, वो पुलिस ने अपने आप इसको फैसला किया है. ये तो बहुत, यदि सही है, मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको, मैं इसके लिए गारंटी नहीं दे सकता, बट वो ऑफिसर, वो ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि वो अपने मन से कुछ बना ली है. उसका काम ही ये है कि पता करने के लिए. तो इसीलिए इसके माने एक विद्रोह है, एंड इस विद्रोह को समझना चाहिए. आप सिर्फ सीआरपी को भेज देंगे और दिल्ली में बैठकर ठंडी हवा खाएंगे, इससे नहीं होगा. आप वहाँ अपने प्रमुख लोगों को श्रीनगर जाना चाहिए, वहाँ रहना चाहिए. इनको डर है तो मैं उनको ले जाने के लिए तैयार हूँ, लेकिन वहाँ जाकर इनकी सामना करना पड़ेगा, तभी हौसला आएगा. अभी ये हमारी विश्वास करके सब लोग वहाँ वापस गए और उनको टारगेट किया गया. तो मैं समझता हूँ कि इसके लिए प्रधानमंत्री ने आज तक जवाब नहीं दिया है. प्रधानमंत्री को देना चाहिए. नहीं, मैं नहीं कहता हूँ तो प्रधानमंत्री दोषी है. मैं इतना ही कहता हूँ कि आप प्रधानमंत्री हैं और इतनी बड़ी चीज़ हुई है जहाँ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के फोर्सेस अपने लोगों को बचा नहीं सके, और एक ही यानी एक उसके बाद एक और उनका जान भी लिया गया है. तो ये कारण क्या है, और क्या गारंटी देते हैं कि आगे ऐसा नहीं होगा? सारी चीज़ें आपके पास हैं, कौन सी चीज़ की कमी है? सारा देश इसको चाहती है, मुसलमान भी चाहते हैं वहाँ. उनको वो थक गए हैं, उनका सारा रोजी रोटी सब बिगाड़ दिया गया है. वो चाहते हैं कि नॉर्मल सी आए, ताकि हिंदूज सारा देश से आए, कहाँ खरीदें और उनकी आमदनी बढ़े. सब चाहते हैं वो. तो हम भी जब गए थे उस दिन श्रीनगर, तो लोग यही कह रहे थे कि नॉर्मल सी लाइए, हम नॉर्मल सी चाहते हैं, अब थक गए इससे. तो आम तौर पर मुसलमान भी श्रीनगर में कश्मीर में आतंकवादी के साथ नहीं है, परंतु उनके प्रोटेक्शन में नहीं खड़ा हो गए तो सब लोग हाथ झुकाएंगे। ये तो हिंदुस्तान में भी होता है, इमरजेंसी मैंने देखा है कि लोग झुक गए यद्यपि उनके दिल में और कुछ बात थी। तो कुल मिलाकर मैं कहूँगा कि आज हम ऐसे परिस्थिति में पहुँच गए हैं कि हम नहीं करेंगे तो विदेशी इसका फ़ायदा उठाएंगे। पाकिस्तान उठाएगी एक तरफ से, चाइना ने उठा लिया है हमारी नपुंसकता को देखकर, और इसीलिए आज हमें हमारी देश की अखंडता के लिए जो हम शपथ लेते रहते हैं वो खतरे में है। और हमें आज प्रधानमंत्री से ये मांग करनी चाहिए कि वही स्पष्टीकरण करो कि ऐसा क्यों हुआ और क्या है जो आप गारंटी देते हैं कि आगे ऐसा नहीं होगा।
But Dr. Swamy, it's fascinating is that when incidents like Rahul Bhatt or the lynching of sadhus in Palghar case, the Prime Minister did not even express his condolence, a tweet or anything. But when Shabana Azmi got into an accident and had a scratch, he put out a tweet. I mean, if this is the way Hindus are going to get treated by the Prime Minister, where he says we're using them only as a vote bank. I mean, come an election, something gets ripped up, whipped up saying, oh, I'm going to go to Ram Mandir, I'm going to go to, Mathura and do some song and dance. How long can the Hindus be fooled like this? Why can't the Hindus wake up? It's more than a renaissance, as you always say. I think the Hindus need to wake up and say, we're not going to deal with this kind of drama-bazi every time around when the election comes. And suddenly he's painted as Ram, he's painted as Krishna. I mean, it is just beyond belief that the Hindus are being so tolerant. Why do we have to be so tolerant?
Well, tolerant is not quite the correct word. Why is the Hindu so patient? I would say. When he gets aggressive, the Hindu.
And you're the only voice. I mean, and obviously the Andhbugs and Gunbugs will go target this video also. I mean, obviously, thank you. It's also good viewership. Thank you for
Let me interrupt you and say the Andhbugs and Gunbugs are the reason why Modi has no clue what is happening in the country. He only listens to them conveyed through his officer.
So it's an echo chamber.
Hiren Joshi.
Yeah, echo chamber.
Echo chamber, yeah.
Arvind ji, go ahead, please.
डॉक्टर स्वामी, मैं आपसे कुछ अपने ऑब्जर्वेशन के साथ सवाल पूछूंगा। हमारा आज का विषय है कि क्या हिंदू फिर से निशाने पर हैं। और आज मुझे याद है आपने एक पुस्तक लिखी थी आज से 15 वर्ष पहले, हिंदूज अंडर सीज, और वो आपने तब की परिस्थिति बताई थी जब देश में कांग्रेस की सरकार थी। 2014 में हिंदूवादी सरकार और तथाकथित हिंदूवादी सरकार हिंदू नारे के साथ केंद्र में आई, और केंद्र में नहीं आई, अधिकांश प्रदेशों में भी जिसको हम हिंदूवादी सरकार कह सकते हैं नाम के लिए, वो है। पाकिस्तान में हिंदू का उत्पीड़न हो, बांग्लादेश में हिंदू का उत्पीड़न हो, अफगानिस्तान में हिंदू का उत्पीड़न हो, और चाहे फिजी हो, भूटान हो या दूसरी जगह हो, वहां हम कह सकते हैं। अभी आपने कुछ दिन पहले घटना प्रकाश में लाई थी कि हमने CAA जो कानून बनाया था, वो उन हिंदुओं के लिए भी बनाया था जो दूसरे देश में जिनको उत्पीड़न का शिकार हो रहे हैं। और 800 परिवार, हिंदू परिवार जो पाकिस्तान से पीड़ित होकर भारत में आए थे शरण लेने के लिए और नागरिक बनने के लिए, 2 साल हो गए, CAA का अभी तक इम्प्लीकेशन ग्राउंड पे नहीं हुआ है, और उसके कारण उनको वापस जाना पड़ा। तो ये भारत सरकार के लिए एक निहायती शर्म की बात है, और हिंदुओं के लिए विशेषकर शर्म की बात है कि जिस CAA के लिए पूरे देश में आंदोलन हुआ, माइनॉरिटीज के लोगों ने किया ये समझ के कि उनको निशाने पे लिया जा रहा है, लेकिन सबका साथ और सबका विश्वास वाली सरकार उन्हीं हिंदी परिवारों के लिए अंततः पीड़ित साबित हुई जिनको वापस जाना पड़ा। पहली बात। दूसरी बात, जो इस देश में हो रहा है, अभी आपने देखा कि राजस्थान में क्या हुआ। राजस्थान में करौली, हनुमानगढ़ और भीलवाड़ा और जोधपुर, एक के बाद एक शहरों में हिंदुओं को निशाने पर लिया गया एक विशेष समुदाय द्वारा, और उनको सुरक्षा किसने प्रदान की? वो सुरक्षा प्रदान करने में कांग्रेस की गहलोत सरकार थी। केरल में देख लीजिए, पश्चिम बंगाल में देख लीजिए, तमिलनाडु में देख लीजिए, जहां जहां गैर भाजपाई सरकार है वहां तो इस प्रकार के केस सामने आ रहे हैं कि सरकार सुरक्षा दे रही है। राजस्थान का मामला तो इतना स्पष्ट था कि जयपुर में जब नमाज पढ़ाने के लिए अनुमति दी गई तो सड़क पे लाउड स्पीकर लगाए गए जानबूझ के हिंदुओं को चिढ़ाने के लिए। तो इस प्रकार का ये जो राजनीति है, ये कब तक राजनीति चलेगी और इसको किस प्रकार रोका जाएगा?
आपका सारे प्रश्न जो हैं वो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। मैं ये समझता हूँ कि कहीं गलतफहमी में प्रधानमंत्री आ गए हैं कि अभी तक जो भी कोई खड़ा हो गया उसको हमने ठीक कर दिया। कई जैसे अरुण शौरी या XYZ सबको निकाल दिया, और कैबिनेट में जिसको मंत्री थे उसको नीचे उसको हटाया, परंतु वो चुप बैठ गए। यानी कोई कुछ कहने के लिए सवाल उठाने के लिए भी तैयार नहीं था। तो ऐसा लगा कि उनको सब मानते हैं, और मैं ये सोचता हूँ सब मानते हैं, और उनका कोई उनकी जो निर्णय होती है वो बड़ी सूझबूझ के साथ होती है, और किसी से सलाह करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, वो सब जानते हैं। ये मैं जो अंधभक्त और गंधभक्त होते हैं ना, वो जब मुझे ट्वीट करते हैं तो उसमें मैं तो उनको ब्लॉक करते रहता हूँ, फिर भी वो कीड़ा जैसे आते रहते हैं। तो उनमें यही बात होती है कि वो जब जानते हैं वो भगवान है, एट्सेट्रा। तो ये हमारे लोकतंत्र के लिए फिट नहीं करेगा। ये इंदिरा गांधी के बारे में सुनता था उन दोनों में, ओ इंदिरा गांधी देवी है, वो दुर्गा की बेटी है, एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ। सो ये आज मैं समझता हूँ कि कहीं ना कहीं जिनके पास वो शक्ति है, जैसे संघ है, उनको कहीं ना कहीं दो टूक बात करनी चाहिए नरेंद्र मोदी से, क्योंकि चाइना का 4000 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर वो हमारी जमीन हड़प कर ली। अब धीरे धीरे पेपर में भी आने लग गया कि हम बात कर रहे हैं डैम चौक के बारे इसके बारे। अब पहले तो वो कहते थे ओ नहीं लाइन ऑफ एक्चुअल कंट्रोल वहीं का समस्या नहीं, अंदर आकर उन्होंने 4000 स्क्वायर मीटर लिया। इसके लिए अभी तक हमने चाइना को जवाब नहीं दिया, और चाइना से सारी जो शिष्टाचार है वो जारी है। वो आ रहे हैं, हम जा रहे हैं, उनका एक्सपोर्ट तो 2 गुना बढ़ गया पिछले 3 साल में। तो मैं ये कहता हूँ कि जब लगता है किसी को कि मेरा नेतृत्व को कोई चुनौती नहीं दे सकता और कोई मुझे बोल नहीं सकता, मैं सब कुछ जानता हूँ, सर्वज्ञानी हूँ, तो फिर इस प्रकार के गलतियां बहुत होते हैं।
Dr. Sawmy, one more point that I have noted,
Yes.
that media
Yes.
is also anti-Hindu. So the English media, especially the electronic media and the English the dailies, they may be Hindus, majority of the journalists and majority of the editors, but the kind of stance that they have taken is purely anti-Hindu. Recently, a Hindu boy was killed in Hyderabad, butchered actually, in daylight, because he married a Muslim girl. And not only these so-called secular leaders did not speak about this because it was a Hindu boy, but even the media did not speak. And had it been this person of any other religion, the media would have been colored with red. So the media stance is also very, very surprising.
Listen, I am not surprised. The media is afraid, and they should not be afraid. because the whole idea of media is not to be afraid. But the media is afraid that their newspaper gets closed down if they say anything which will be taken as a criticism of the Prime Minister. And I know one or two newspapers very well. And they, in fact, had nothing to do with BJP, but they were, in fact, much more pro-communist as most people thought. But they too have to comply. Otherwise, the newspaper will get closed, and there'll be no furor for it. If people's human rights are taken away, the media should be the first one to raise it for everybody.
Yes.
But there's no mention. I mean, in the emergency, the amount of coverage I got from New York Times and Washington Post and, their NBC and CBS and so on, BBC, all these, they publicize it for the Indians. I mean, the Americans are not too bothered about what is happening to India. But because these media were being also listened to in India, it had a huge effect on India. And this is what Jayaprakash had told me, why are you going around the country? That's no use. Your strength is in America because you have been a professor at Harvard. You go there, you will have credibility, and you tell them the truth, which is that Indira Gandhi was saying that only smugglers are in jail. Nobody else is in jail. There's all lies to say that Jayaprakash is in jail and so on. So the question is today, the media is run essentially by their Sethji who own the media. It is the only paper that comes close to being professional media is Hindu, but the Hindu persuasion is undergoing change, but it needs to be changed much more before they become much more aggressive vis-a-vis the government. So this media is the employees of the media are the journalists, and they're losing their job, and of course all the perquisites, and therefore they are complicit. They are so complicit that they will only publish today any news which is negative about me, but they will never publish anything where I have achieved something or won some court case or any of those other things. And this is because they don't want to annoy the people in the Prime Minister's office. They themselves tell me that. So that is the situation we are in today, and it's a time we have to get up and start speaking. Many people ask me, why are you speaking? I said, I'm only speaking on policy. We got elected for a policy, and you must stick to it. He said, nobody else is doing. I said, what can I do? I mean, I had the same problem in the emergency too. So therefore, I think people should be encouraged to stand up and speak. And but there is no encouragement. Everybody says, be careful, don't go too far, keep a balance, say some few good words, and then say all that sort of a way of complicity is there.
Dr. Sawmy, it may not be out of place here to mention that it is not only the print media or the electronic media, even the social media. The way Twitter has been banning you, Twitter has been banning all the Hindu leaders and those who raise the cause of Hinduism. The kind of the restriction that Twitter, not only Twitter, I'm saying all the social media, which is being controlled by the powers. And that is also the condemnable.
Yeah, you see, they have not banned me, but they have shadow banned me as the new.
Correct.
Yeah. So that means they reduce the number of people to which my answers go, and so on. Just make it difficult for them to know the whole truth. See, they are doing it only for business reasons, because nobody in India is going to stand up for them if they close down. And if they close down, they lose money. And this car manufacturer who bought Twitter?
Elon Musk. Yeah, Elon Musk.
What is his problem? He is shocked to find so much padding of fake IDs that he's not being allowed to delete those.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Swami, unfortunately, he's saying,
exposed.
Dr. Swami, he's saying that the deal is on note because way too many fake IDs. I think he's
I know.
talking about India.
I know. He is talking about because India is the only place where they formally put put it on hold. So he's talking about India.
Dr.
And
Swami, what is preventing Modi from framing the rules for CAA? I mean, what is that you've done? You've sung and launched the movie. Part one is done.
I will
Bahubali
tell you
part one.
I will tell you what it is. He's afraid of the Americans. He's afraid of everybody except our own people.
Hindus, not people. I would say he's not afraid of Hindus.
Yeah, he's afraid of the Americans. He'll not do anything which annoys them. Of course, the Americans are annoyed because piecemeal. They don't want India. They want the India as a package. Then he will not annoy the Russians. He will not annoy the Chinese, who have occupied your territory.
Not one word. He's afraid of everybody but the Hindus. I mean, I think at least we are such a
No, I suppose.
in general. There are very few Hindus who don't, who are not afraid of him.
Yeah.
But all of them are in DHS.
Swami,
Yes.
Dr. Swami, as you have seen and we have discussed, on many Hindutva issues, our Prime Minister and his team are not seen assertive. So many state governments, especially Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and other places, are taking advantage of the situation and creating a dislike for everything that is Hinduism or our ancient culture. Why can't the central government be tough with it or come out with some central laws as far as temples or conversions and all these type of things are concerned? Especially people in Tamil Nadu, they are getting daily, the government which is there is creating havoc for Hindus. So what do you think the central government can do in such matters? Because people are worried in Tamil Nadu as far as the effectiveness of the central government. Can you tell our viewers?
Well, Jagdish, you were with me when I was in the government. You were part of my office. So was Arvind. You know very well that when these people were getting tough with us about LTT, what I did, I just landed in Connemara Hotel, called the DGP, and told him that tomorrow we are going to dismiss the government, and I don't want any bus burnt. You do what you have to do. And he said, well, I'll have to shoot, fire. And I said, you fire as much as you like. I give you sanction to fire up to, to cause casualties of 5,000 people. Don't worry, I'll defend you, but I don't want any bus burnt. And can you believe it? Not even a cycle was burnt. And the people came out in rejoicing because they were all out of fear hiding. And when they saw that we have dismissed the government and put in the force. So I am saying that all that needs to be done is tell the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, listen, we are going to teach Sanskrit in central school. That is this Kendriya Vidyalaya. Because the fact is that it's in the constitution. 2, if you object, we will dismiss your government. And I think we should. I mean, nothing, they'll be cheering, I can tell you that. And these chaps don't know. And then many of them can go to jail also for some corruption cases. So you tell them that we are not making it compulsory for you to bring Sanskrit. But in central school, or schools financed by private people like, Padma Sheshatri or something like that. There are a lot of schools which are doing very well, but they are not dependent on the government. They're teaching us because Sanskrit is a language of the future because of artificial intelligence. All you have to do is to Google and go and see it as Sanskrit, and artificial intelligence will get all the connections. So the Germany is learning Sanskrit like mad. People are learning Sanskrit in almost all of Europe. And so, because they think that artificial intelligence is going to have to depend on Sanskrit, so might as well learn the language. It's like learning mathematics. But we are not doing it. And Sanskrit was, in fact, developed to a great extent by Tamil scholars. People have forgotten this heritage. So what are they doing? They just want to scare everybody. Don't get scared. There was a time when they used to scare us with LTT. One day I went, sat and finished them off as far as India was concerned. And Rajapaksa did the rest in Sri Lanka. Where is the LTT? And so I think this is basically people who say, what does it matter? We have, I think the way of thinking in the BJP is we have no MPs there, but the name, or maybe have, some Rajya Sabha MPs from some other place who are Tamilians, that kind of thing. But we, in a time of a vote, we may need their vote, and we have got them on all their corruption things. We can, blackmail them on them. That kind of thing. Fixing, I can get this done, I can get that done. Not the ideology. The ideology has to be that Hindutva should now be popularized in Tamil Nadu, and we must do it through all the central instruments in Tamil Nadu. And for that, you need a different mindset. I think we have crossed the time limit, Jagdish.
Yeah. One last question before Arvind winds up, Dr. Swamy. A viewer is asking if Yogi Adityanath can show leadership to get Faizabad district name changed to Ayodhya and the Allahabad name to change to Prayagraj and the Mughal Sarai railway station name changed to Deen Upadhyay station. Why Modi is not mustering courage to implement his own scheme to change Ahmedabad name to Karnavati? People are, one viewer is strongly wanting to know why is the CM's proposal not yet implemented by the PM on name change to Karnavati, while Yogi has shown the way. Why can't the Prime Minister implement the same?
Why can't the Prime the same reason as the Prime Minister is unable to say that Chinese have come and grabbed our land. Koi nahi aaya, he says. So he's living in, I don't know. I mean, it's almost amazing. Same thing with GST and GST also. He opposed it. He said, I will never implement it in Gujarat. But he's implementing it now all over India. So this is something which he has to address. I don't know. There's no forum by which I can meet him and tell him. That's all gone. There's only one way I can communicate to him: speak to the media, and then it'll be cut by Mr. Hiren Joshi and given to Modi at 4 a.m. in the morning. That this is what Swamy has said. So that's the only way I can communicate to him. And therefore, I think if you get isolated like that, you won't even know that these things are there. Because how can one person know all the details of everything that's happening unless somebody points out to him? And there's nobody to point it out to him.
Arvind, it's
Thank you, Dr. Swamy. The issues that you have raised today reminds all of us the situation is not normal in India, especially for the 82% majority. And the government which came in the power in 2014, central government in the name of Hinduism or protection of Hinduism, and they say तुष्टिकरण किसी का नहीं, सबके लिए समान नीति. But where is that saman? Sabka saath, sabka vishwas. Nobody has any objection. But 5,000 crores is being spent on the minority special education for preparing the students for IAS examination, and majority of that going to only one community. And this shows the mindset, as you said. It is only a Nara. And the Nara has been given, slogan has been given only to please some people. And when they say Hindutva, they say हमने राम मंदिर अयोध्या में बना दिया. Ram Mandir is done actually by the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And no government can claim the credit. And you had actually fought for this, but nobody wants to give the credit to it. Anyway, so there are many issues, and very timely you have raised this issue today, that are Hindus under siege again. And the only thing is the mindset has to be changed. Jagdish has given many examples of the state governments following policy which is anti-Hindu policy, whether it was temples or it was discrimination or policies against Hindus in general. But only change from the Hindus, as Ramesh said, an agitation from the Hindus can only bring this government to senses, and something can be done. But before I wind up, let me share one good news to you. UGC, University Grant Commission, they conduct an examination called National Eligibility Test, NET, for the research scholars and appointment of lecturers and assistant professors. They had 81 subjects for the examination. They have added one subject called Hindu Studies. This announcement came only last week. And this is a pleasing announcement, at least from one part of the government. On this happy note, yes, Ramesh, you want to say something?
Yeah. Basically, the reason why they included that more on a lighter vein is that Hinduism is dying, so they want to revive it. So they're creating a new study. Let people learn about Hindus.
Yeah, before Hindus become
extinct.
Before Hindus become extinct.
The Hindus don't show their voice. That's what will become history books only. We'll become history.
Thank you, Dr. Sawmy. And you continue to raise these issues, and people appreciate this. And this is reflected in the swelling of the viewership of our program. And wherever you go, people talk about this program and your views. Thank you, Jagdish ji. Thank you, Ramesh Swami ji. And thanks the technical team led by Ashish Shetty, Gadgi Rakesh, Ishwar Iyer, Swaminathan, Tejas Navalgul, Vishal Mehta, and Rajesh Nair. We will be meeting next Sunday again on 22nd May, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time, Dr. Swami, and with a new topic. Till then, Namaskar, Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.
कोई नहीं सर आगे भी आते हैं, सांप भी इसमें दिख रहा है, जब हम दूध डालते हैं ना ऊपर से